This is the experienced optimist, and I hear a lot of people talking about how men need to man up, how men need to be more like men, and what this generally means is, in order to man up, you got to do things that society wants you to do, what women want you to do. In order to man up, it means that you have to sacrifice your life by working on the pussy plantation, giving all your resources away, giving all your time and effort away. And sacrificing your hard work for someone else. I remember back in the day, I used to listen to Tom Likas. Tom Likas is a guy who spoke about men's issues on the radio. And he used to say that we live in a feminized world where men are more like women, or acting more like women, and women are acting more like men. At the time, I said, this Tom Likas guy, he's being overdramatic. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But now that I'm older, I'm looking around and I see a lot of men acting more like women, and women acting more like men. So I think in this video, I'm going to address some areas in which most men can stop doing that can help them man up in a way that's more conducive to what they want to do as far as finding out more about themselves, escaping the pussy plantation, and just being a better man overall. So the first area I want to talk about is being passive aggressive. For all the men out there, you have to stop being passive aggressive. Being passive aggressive is a very feminine trait. But with a lot of the dudes I work with now, a lot of the dudes I see, I interact with, they have these passive aggressive tendencies. You'll ask them to do something, they'll agree to do it, but then they'll be slow. They might start doing the job, then they'll leave. And then when you confront them about it, why are you being lazy? Why are you not doing the job that you promised you said you were going to do? They'll make up some excuse. They're not man enough to tell you to your face that they're busy, that they got something else to do. But like a woman, they'll tell you they're going to do something and then not do it, and then make up an excuse. So stop being passive aggressive. The next one I want to talk about is teamwork. I notice that a lot of men nowadays are sabotaging teamwork. They can't work in a team. Now, this is another thing I've seen with women. Women will get together, and because they want to be the queen bee, they want to be Miss Bossy, they'll intentionally sabotage the team. then they'll blame it on someone else. I see a lot of men doing this now in corporate America. They sabotage teamwork. Instead of communicating effectively like some men would have done back in the day, focus on getting the job done, they want to bicker and argue about everything. So if you want to man up and be a better man, stop sabotaging teamwork. And then the next one I want to talk about is stop complaining about people around you that don't do any work when you don't do work yourself. A lot of men have gotten real lazy, man. And to make it seem like they do more work than other people, they'll try to point out the faults of some other guy. For example, I work with this one guy, and this dude was always talking about someone else not doing any work. Always talking about someone else. Oh, he missed this. Or he should have done this. Or he went home early. This guy doesn't do this. And this dude is the most lazy son of a bitch you'll ever meet in your life. He'll work hard some days when the boss is watching, but most days he doesn't do any work. If there's work to be done, he just backs out and lets someone else do the work. He's also very passive aggressive, another feminine trait like I talked about before. So, if you want to be more like a man, stop being lazy and blaming your work inefficiency on someone else. The next one I want to talk about is validation. Stop seeking validation. This is something that I've had a hard time dealing with my whole life. You know, if I want to be honest. Constantly looking for women to validate you, your parents to validate you, your teachers to validate you. And we all know by now that, yeah, sure, it's part of the indoctrination process when you're growing up. But seeking validation can destroy your life. Living for other people, for what they think, what they want for you instead of what you want for yourself. That's the quickest path to destruction. We see it in women all the time. I remember this one guy said he talked about women, like how women will talk another woman out of a good relationship. He calls that group of women the sisterhood of failure. Now, the sisterhood of failure, they'll tell a girl that's in a good relationship, oh, he doesn't love you. There's this other guy out here that can treat you better. You can make more money doing this. And these women will sabotage your relationship. And because the girl is seeking validation from that woman instead of her husband, she will go along for the ride and she will destroy herself. She'll end up old and alone, having lost the best man she ever had in her life. So, gentlemen, stop seeking validation. The next one is also very important. I see a lot of men doing this nowadays. Stop gossiping. I used to do this back in the day. But I see a lot of men gossiping all the time. Talking about other dudes. Talking about other women when they should be focused on work. They should be focused on themselves. I especially see this in married men who around their wives. They pick up bad habits. I remember I was riding with this one guy, and I could tell his wife was shady. And the small talk they had, all it was gossiping, talking about something negative, talking about some lady, what she's getting, what's going on here, well, what this guy's not doing. Gossiping's bad because a lot of times it brings negativity back on you. People find out you're gossiping about them. But most of all, it just keeps you in a negative headspace. When you talk about negativity all the time, you attract negativity. So stop gossiping. This is one that I fell victim to, especially when I was younger. Stop buying expensive clothes. I was Mr. Fashion Accessory when I was younger. Had the blazer, like 6 pairs of them, six blazers. The jeans with holes in them. The boots. The cool looking belt, nice shirts. And I had the douche bag. What's that thing? That chain, the wallet chain. I had that, man. I thought I was Mr. Cool, man. And these clothes, they added up over time. This is money I could have put in a Vanguard index fund. I could have used that money to buy real estate, to travel. But I fucked up. And I want to make sure that you guys don't make the same mistake. I remember I saw in the news there was a guy, this one hipster, young white dude, man, and he did all his shopping at Salvation Army, and this dude looked hip. He looked like he was wearing like brand new clothes. He had a blazer, he had a t-shirt, he had jeans, he had the shoes, he had everything he bought from Salvation Army. I think his whole outfit cost like under $100 or something. It was something crazy. So stop buying expensive clothes. It's a waste of time and money. The next one's important as well. Stop showing up late. You see a lot of women, they'll say they're going to be somewhere at 7 o'clock. They don't get there until 8 o'clock, and now dudes are doing this. If you say you're going to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, make sure you're there at 8 o'clock. There is no excuse for a man not being able to keep his word. How are you going to be respected as a man when you say you're going to show up at a meeting at such and such a time, you're going to do a business deal at such and such a time, and you can't even show up on time? I remember when I was in the military. Since you're in the military, I didn't think it was important to show up on time. There was this guy who was a sergeant. He would always show up like 15 minutes early. I asked him, I said, why do you keep showing up 15 minutes early? What's the point? And he told me that was a good practice to do in life. Be there early, show up early. People respect that. People like that. You know why? Because a lot of people, especially men, a lot of men don't do it right now. It sets you above. When people arrive at 8 o'clock, when you've been there since 7:45, they say, man, this guy's taking it. He's taking it seriously. He believes in this business deal. This guy's a man of integrity. And that was something I learned from that sergeant, and I always took that with me. I try to show up early all the time now. And the next one, is similar to showing up on time. Stop being flaky. I cannot stand men nowadays. They're extremely flaky, just like women. If you say you're gonna do something, fucking do it. If you say you're gonna help someone with a roof, help them with the roof. You say you're gonna help people make repairs, you're gonna show up on time. If you say you're gonna do a business deal, you say you're gonna do contracts for a business, whatever it is you said you're gonna do. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. And if you can't do it, communicate to the person and explain why you can't do it. LA, California in general is flaky man central. I've never met so many flaky men in my life. I remember I was talking to this one guy. This was something pretty important, pretty life-changing. He said, look, man, I'm going to call you on such and such a date, such and such a time. I said, cool. He called me, something came up. I told him, I said, look, let me finish this real quick. This is very important, but I'm going to call you right back after. He said, nope, don't even worry about it. I'm going to call you on Thursday. I said, cool, no problem. What time? Okay, I'll be there. Waited. The time came, went. An hour passed after that, 2 hours passed after that. The dude never called. I called him, didn't answer. There was a lady I was talking to, she was kind of like a recruiter. Typical with women nowadays, you try to call them and try to reach out to them. Just like in the dating scene, they feel like they don't have to return phone calls. They don't have to be good with customer service. It doesn't really matter with them. And that's the same attitude that men are picking up. Men in management positions, men higher up in companies. They flake on the regular now. Flaking is a feminine characteristic. Back in the day, 50s and 60s, a guy says, look, I'm going to come over at 6 o'clock. I'm going to fix your engine for you. Pay me $400 and we'll get it done. You shook the man's hand. You looked him straight in his eyes. And guess what? That guy would show up. You pay him $400. He fixes your engine and you're good to go. Men nowadays, you'll be lucky if the guy says he's going to do what he said he was going to do. You'll be lucky if the guy shows up on time. You'll be lucky if the guy doesn't try to change the price on you. You'll be lucky if the guy doesn't try to hustle you in some way. So stop being flaky. And last but not least, don't be afraid to be alone. This is one of the things I struggle with for a little bit, even though I'm a loner. I spent most of my life, because I'm an introvert by nature, but I spent most of my life trying to be an extrovert. Because I thought that you're always supposed to be around people. You're not supposed to be alone. I remember people telling me that you can't go to movie theaters alone. You always got to have a girlfriend with you. You can't go to a nightclub alone. You always got to go with somebody. But what I've learned throughout life is some of the best things, creative-wise, as far as like if you're a creative person, art, music, One of the best things you can be is alone. Because you can focus on your craft. You can focus on getting better. Very few people get better when they're constantly surrounded by other people who just want to party and hang out and have a good time. Okay, which leads me to my next point. I said that was the last point, but I got one more. Keep shady people out of your life. Keep shady people out of your life. And this includes trying to be a tough guy, want to be a thug or whatever to attract women. Because when you do so, you're going to attract in your life all sorts of negativity. Try to be around as many upstanding gentlemen as you can find. Guys with integrity, guys that are about something, guys that are trying to achieve something. Because if not, if you hang around shady people, hang around people who just want you for your money, hang around with people who are not doing anything, it's just going to drag you down. And I know a lot of guys, they want to be cool, so they try to act like thugs and, you know, those Jersey Shore type dudes to attract women. Don't do it. I remember there was this guy, he was from the Caribbean. His parents were well off. So they paid for this kid to come over, I think go to University of Maryland to be a doctor. This kid, he wanted to be a thug, a rude boy. And he started selling weed. And one of my family members told this kid, he said, look, man, I know you want to hang out with these thug guys. It attracts women and makes you look cool. Well, depending on who you are. He said, I know you want to be that guy, that main guy. You want that credibility. Because as we all know, women love savages. So he told that guy to stop doing it. You come from a rich family, you're going to be a doctor. What are you doing this for? The kid didn't stop. One day, guy walked up to him, shot him, killed the kid. All because the kid wanted to be something he was not. If you look at the list that I just talked about, he was seeking validation. He didn't keep the shady people out of his life. Afraid to be alone. So these are the things you gotta watch out for. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but these are things that are pretty important. I remember when I first started this channel, I didn't want to do this channel just because, you know, I get nervous on the mic. Like I said before, I'm introverted. I'm not the most articulate guy, but Darius from MGTOW Knowledge, I was watching one of his videos and he said, look, man, if you have some information to share that can help a guy out, you have to do it. You have to help men out because there's a lot of people, a lot of men are falling by the wayside. They're not getting the help that they need and deserve. And Black Ram also said in one of his videos, he said, you have a responsibility to share the wisdom that you've accumulated over your life. So these are some of the things I was thinking about as far as manning up. If you do these things, you will become a better man. Stop being flaky. Stop buying expensive clothes. Stop looking for validation and attention. Stop being lazy at work. Complain about other people not doing work and you're not doing nothing. Stop sabotaging teamwork. Stop being passive aggressive. But anyway, I gotta get out of here. If you like this video, give a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the notification button, support other MGTOW channels, and I'll talk to you later.